So this is my first time buying a broken computer component from eBay on purpose. I think it's still going to be a good deal, probably if two out of the three components actually work, and maybe I can sell it for parts. Someone else can fix it if I'm not able to find the issue. So let me show you what I bought. This is a motherboard, CPU, RAM combo. The seller is claiming that it's not posting. Yeah, he included 32 gigabytes of DDR4, so that's good. I paid a total of $90 for this whole package, and in this video we're gonna see what the issue is. Maybe the CPU is bad, or the motherboard is bad, or maybe it could be as simple as a BIOS update. Who knows? Of course, it is a 4 parts motherboard CPU combo, so it could be that maybe the seller is lying and the motherboard has bent pins beyond repair, and he just stuck the CPU on there and some RAM, and he sold it for $90 just to get something out of the components that he had. So let me go ahead and open this up. So this is an ITX board, so it's a very small board. It's not huge. There it is, my board. Here's the box. And what else we got in here? Nothing else. Okay. Okay, so this is what I bought. This is the ASUS Strix Z270i gaming motherboard. These boards on eBay are going for around $180 to $200 roughly for a working board. So if we get hopefully that to work, that would be already a great deal. Yeah, let's go ahead and open this up, see what we got. Okay, so he did ship the RAM in this static bag here. Okay, so this is the memory, DDR4, Vengeance LPX. This should be 16 gigabytes each. So a total of 32 gigabytes right here. I think you can get a set for around 40 bucks probably. For a used or new sometimes on eBay if you get like a really good deal for like weird brands out there. You got the manual, pretty much everything that was included. Um, the IO shield looks heavily used for sure, so it could be that the board is bad because automatically I'm thinking this board has been used for many years and now it just stopped working. So probably a bad board, or his CPU died. Oh, we get the Wi-Fi antenna here. It looks brand new, like he didn't even use it, or she. Other cables I don't know about. Here's the board. Anything else? All right, nothing else. This is it. All right, let's see. I want to check those. I want to check those pins. I want to check those pins. So, all right. So off the bat, it does look like it was used. Of course, it's a board. It's something you use. Honestly, there's really nothing that looks like it's damaged. Probably everything looks good. I don't see any broken chips or anything so far. All right. Well, the first thing I'm gonna do before I power this on and connect it to power is I'm gonna check the pins behind the CPU and see if any of them are bent or damaged. Now, the seller did not say that there's pin damage on the board, but I'm just assuming that's the reason it's not working, because he has damage on the board. So that is the first thing I will inspect. Let's see what we have here. Honestly, this looks really good. Huh. Yeah, this looks normal. There are no pins bent or missing that I can see from here. All right. Well, yeah, I don't see anything really wrong with the pins here. That may be a good sign. Let's check the CPU. He overclocked it too much and it burnt out the chip. So yeah, maybe the chip is bad. So I'm gonna power this on, see what happens, and yeah, we'll go from there. We'll use the memory that was included. What are the odds that I'll turn this on and it just works? That would be absolutely crazy. $80 for 32 gigabytes, i7 6700K, and a ITX Strix board by ASUS. Or maybe the memory is bad. Who knows? But let me get a cooler. Alright, so this is my little setup here. I'm gonna use the motherboard box as a little station here. And now I'm just going to plug it into my monitor and a power supply. Let's see if this works. Okay. Oh, we're getting some lights. That's nice. I'm going to plug in our HDMI cable. So this is a little setup here. Got our little power supply. So we got our power supply connected to the board. And now it's time to see if we get a display. Alright, so the monitor is on. And yeah, let me turn this on real quick. Let's see, where are the pins? Oh, they're right here. Power it on. The power switch is this one. Alright, so let's see what happens. Alright, so we are not getting okay, so we're not getting a post. Let's see what the lights say here. What does that say? Well, we got a little orange light, but I don't know if there's like a error indicator light around here. Let me check. Alright, so we do have a post. We got post lights up here, but none of them are working. Yeah, they're just off. I think they burnt out or something. Oh, sure. Alright. Well, we're not getting a post. I guess I can use it like this right here. Okay, so far we're not getting a post. So I am going to. So what are some things that I'm noticing real quick here? We're not getting post LEDs. So this is LEDs here where it should start blinking and give us an error if there is one. We do get an orange light down here. I don't know what that's for though. So what I'm going to do is before I swap the CPU, I'm going to remove the CMOS battery and reset the BIOS. Hopefully that works. So let me power this off. Just regular troubleshooting steps. Disconnect the power supply. And get this little battery off here. There we go. Alright, I'm going to power this on without the battery and see what happens. Oh, let me connect the power. Power this on. Alright, no post. No post. Still got that little orange LED there. We're not getting a post. Not even our error LEDs are working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a CPU that's compatible with this board and see if that works. Okay, so I have two CPUs that will probably work with this board. I have an i5 6600T and an i5 7500. The CPU that we were testing was the i7 6700K. So in this test, I'm gonna do the i7 or the i5 7500. So we're going 7th generation here and see how that goes. What I hope that is a problem, maybe the CPU, because the CPUs are cheaper than the board. The board is like $180. The CPU, the i7 6700K, is going for like $50. So if the CPU is bad, that wouldn't be, that's the route I wanted to go. If just the CPU is bad, but if the board is bad, I mean, I'll still pretty much get what I paid for. An i7, what was it, 6700K and 32 gigs of memory. That alone is like $100 worth, and so we'll see. I'll just power this on. Oh, okay. Look at this. We're getting post LEDs now. Before those were off. We get a post. Oh, damn it! The HDMI is not plugged in. Oh my god! I almost gave myself a heart attack. Okay, let's plug this in. We are getting VGA light, I think. Let's restart this. Yeah, at least we're getting some more activity on the board. What is that light? What is that LED? What does that mean? So there's 3 VGA LED, DRAM LED. Oh, maybe let me plug in the battery. Maybe that's causing this. All right, well, we're not getting anywhere closer. Let me just let this run for a bit. Maybe just gotta settle. And yeah, we'll see. This is the right HDMI, right? Yeah, it's still to the board. Let me see if I'm in the correct port. Yep, HDMI. Okay. Well, now I'm going to test the RAM. Let's see if maybe one of these RAM slots is bad. I'm going to remove just one. And I'm going to reseat the other one just in case. No. Did I do it? What? Let's go. Look at this. We booted. We posted. Yo, let's go. The board works. That's what I wanted at the end, the board to work. I don't care about that CPU. I got the i5 7500 here. And I got a Strix Z270i. Let's go. Let's go. Let's see what kind of BIOS we got. Maybe the BIOS needs to be updated for that CPU. Maybe, maybe not. But I do want to test this out in another board that I have that we'll work with. So I'm going to test that out. So we're having issues with one slot. Let me restart the board here. And you know, maybe I didn't install this right. Let's try this again. Honestly, I would have paid $90 just for the board on its own if I was you know, if I was on sale for $90, I would have bought it. And I got it and some memory. So that's good. Yes, I did install it wrong. God dang it. How can I install memory wrong? Let's W, 32 gigs of memory. Yep, I think I made a good deal. Thankfully, I bought this before it was bought by someone else. And yeah, so the CPU may be bad or maybe not bad. So I'm going to test it out before I end this video. Okay, so this is my little test bench for the CPU. I have this ASUS B250MC motherboard. And I have the CPU that I bought from eBay that came with that ITX board. I'm going to use this to test the board, to test the CPU. All right, so my setup is ready. Now it's time to power this on and see if this works. All right, so we're not getting a post. So that tells me that the CPU is probably bad. So yeah, we got a bad CPU. Okay, so yeah, it's not posting with this board. I'm wondering if I should try it with another board just in case. And I am going to do that. I'm going to try with another board that supports the CPU. All right, so this is the last board I'm going to use to test the CPU. The Z170. So this is a little older than the B250 and the, what was it, Z270? I forgot. But let's try this out. Awesome. So we're ready to power this on. Let's see what the results are with this board. Okay, so we're not getting opposed. You know, I kind of want to test something real quick. I'm wondering if maybe the integrated graphics on this chip isn't working anymore. So yeah, maybe that's one of the reasons. Maybe that's a reason. Let me get a graphics card. Okay. So I'm gonna use this super old GPU here just to see if it will post. Maybe, just maybe, the integrated graphics isn't working anymore on this CPU, and who knows? We're gonna find out. It's worth testing everything before you decide that the CPU doesn't work. So let's do this. Okay, not the case. No post. CPU is definitely not working. All right, so that's it. Um, we found out the issue. When I first saw the listing with this guy and the description where he says, he doesn't know whether the board or the CPU is not working, but the memory is working, and I was like, okay, that's cool. So either the CPU or the motherboard isn't working, and I was like, damn, it would be really really cool if I could get that board and CPU and see what the issue was, right? Because I was just so intrigued with this, so I was like, screw it, I want to buy it. Worst case scenario, either the board or the CPU doesn't work. Worst case scenario, the guy, everything could have not worked. I could have got scammed because I believe once you buy something that's four parts not working, you can't do a return because you're buying something that doesn't work. So I was like, okay, so worst case scenario, everything doesn't work. Best case scenario, this is an authentic guy. He just doesn't know. Um, well, in his description, he says he didn't have the hardware to test whether the CPU or the board is wrong, or the board is bad, or he just didn't want to buy parts to see which one works, because then he would have to buy a new board or a new CPU, and then he ends up with two things. And I get it. So I went ahead and bought it because I was really, really interested in seeing what was the issue with this. And come to find out, the CPU is bad. It just doesn't work with any board that I tested on, which is three, including this one. And the memory works, and the board works, so that's good. The board is going for like $200, with tax and shipping at sometimes on eBay. And the memory is 32 gigabytes, so roughly 40 bucks, 50 bucks, used or new, depending on the brand, of course. But overall, I think I got a pretty good deal. Anyways, that's all for this video. If you got any questions, just leave a comment and leave a like if you like it. See you guys.